You know someone who maybe recently graduated high school, or they haven't graduated yet, but they're old enough to see some content like this. Show them some of the videos of shaken baby syndrome that I've posted. I have them on TikTok, I have them on YouTube, because I didn't know what people were capable of. Sure, do people know not to shake a baby? Like, yeah, that's just common sense. Like, you know that you should never pick up a baby and shake them. But at my age of 19, when I met my ex-husband who shook my baby, I did not think he was capable of that, okay? So here's the difference. Like, duh, I get comments all the time where people are like, everybody knows not to shake a baby. It's like, okay, great, but what you may not know is that people are capable of doing that, and you may be naive of that, especially when you're young. You don't know all this evil exists to that extent, and you really don't realize that you could be married to someone who could do something like that, or end up with someone, sleep with someone, end up with a baby and think everything's going to be fine, and it's not, which is basically what happened to me. And so at 19 years old, I married this man very naively, just to get out of like a home situation. And not that my home situation was awful, it was just I just wanted to get out of certain things and start a life with somebody. And so I did that very naively, and it led to eventually having a child who was shaken. I didn't think the man was capable of that. And so by showing my younger self, let's say, or if you know someone who is younger, then maybe it could help prevent that from happening to them. Just be like, hey, this happened, and it wasn't like this, you see on the movies where it's this big, huge abuse constantly every day, and then the kids start getting abused, and they're abused every single day, and like, no. This was like a one-time thing for the man who shook my daughter as far as our kids go. Like, he was kind of mentally abusive to me, sometimes physically abusive towards me, and had substance abuse issues. But I did not think he was capable of doing that to a baby. And so maybe someone out there needs to see what shaken baby syndrome is, because you also don't see that, okay? Once you have that picture in your mind of what a baby looks like after they're shaken, then you take things more seriously and you remember that more. So they're going to remember whenever you show them this photo of this baby and you tell them this is what can happen when you get into relationships. You have to be careful. You have to be careful who you have babies with, who you have children with. It's not just something that they'll just snap and change and be wonderful. And so if you get into a toxic relationship, or especially if you know someone, even an adult, it doesn't have to just be a younger person, who's in a toxic relationship, who may be either going to have a baby or hasn't had a baby yet, show them some of my videos and let them know that this started out as a toxic relationship, toxic marriage. There were all these red flags that I was too naive to see. So the person who you're talking to may be too naive to see those right now. But if you're showing them someone else's experience, it might help them, to be more open to receiving that and watching it and learning about it some more and being like, wow. Because, I have some videos that say red flags. And so if they see themselves in that video and they're like, this does happen, my boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, does do these things. I don't want this to end up happening to me. And so they might think of that more than they would from you just saying something like, sometimes it's better from someone else than it is from a parent or a grandparent or someone that they just think, yeah, you're just trying to protect me, So, anyways, please show those videos. That's one reason that I post all of these videos and take my time and energy and effort, is so that people are aware of these things that I wish I knew. I wish I saw the red flags. It's too late now for myself. It's too late for my daughter. It happened. But if someone out there can see these videos, see what can happen by someone's choice, a moment of weakness, a moment of anger, a moment of frustration, and maybe prevent this from happening to someone else. And so one way you can do that is by showing them the videos and just explaining This is what can happen if you stay in this toxic relationship. This is the honest, real life stuff that could happen to you. Or if they're not in a toxic relationship yet, hopefully they never will be, but even if they're not, it's just warning them about what can happen if you do get into something like that. Warning them by showing those red flag videos. Don't ever stay with someone like this. You need to get help. You need to get out of the relationship if you ever find yourself in this type of relationship. So use what I have posted to hopefully save someone from all the things that I had to go through by being naive and just not knowing.